2023, the Zoning Board of Appeals for Independence Township. If we could begin by joining me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Brian, if we could have a roll call, please.
Sure. Mr. Epping.
Here.
Mr. Galley.
Here.
Mr. Scarborough.
Here.
Mr. Charles.
Here.
Mr. Zurich.
Yes.
And just wanted to mention Mr. Auger is not available, so the alternate is here.
Fantastic, and thank you for coming. Welcome, Mr. Scarborough.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. I know you've actually are appointed a while ago, but it's
Yeah.
good to have you here.
Thank you.
So again, welcome to the meeting. We've got an agenda. If we could have a review of the agenda and any changes or motion to accept, please.
Motion to accept the agenda as presented.
For a second.
Second?
Motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We have three parts of our agenda tonight. Essentially a call to a public comment, unfinished business, and new finished business. So the first is call to a public comment. If there's anybody either online, it doesn't look like it, or anybody in the audience who would like to speak to anything that is not on the agenda tonight, now would be the time. Doesn't look like we have anybody, so we'll close the public comment. We have no unfinished business, so we'll move right to new business. We just have one new case tonight. What'll happen, sir, is I will read the case into the record, explain what the variance being requested is, and we'll invite you up to the podium. At that point, if you'll sign or give us your name and your address, tell us who you are, and then just kind of walk us through your application. If you haven't done so already on your way out, if you just also sign in at the sign-up sheet so we can get everything correct for the minutes. So with that, I will call case number 23-021, George Arkelian. You can help me with that. Petitioner requesting an 1,139 square foot variance from section 5.06A in order to permit a new attached garage at 9500 Sashbaugh Road, which is in the R1A single-family residential portion of our township. If you could come up to the lectern and just let us know
Sure.
about your request, please.
My name is George R. Kelly. I live at 9500 Sashbaugh Road. I've been there for 12 years. It's been in the family since 1954. As many of you know, the problems with living on a lake is lots of toys and no room to store them. For example, I have a pontoon boat, I have a boat, I have a couple kayaks. I do hobby in vintage automobiles. I've been doing that since I was 17. Snowblower, tractor, lawnmower, deck furniture, barbecue grill, and so on would all like to be undercover in the off months. One of the big reasons is, and if I can bring up some pictures, I'd like to show you the damage that is being caused by squirrels and chipmunks.
Okay.
I've got 3 pictures here, and just to give you an example, a year ago last June, my truck was in the shop for a month. And come to find out that chipmunks ate through the wiring harness. That cost me a pretty penny to get that fixed after being there a month. I've got no garage to put that in. The garage that's there is not long enough to store my truck. And for this reason, I'd like to get a variance to keep all this stuff undercover. And I'm sure the neighbors would like it a lot better to not see all this stuff in the winter months being stored outside with tarps and covers and whatnot. In fact, she's planted some trees next to me and her property so that she didn't have to see the side of my house where this stuff is being stored.
The neighbor to the north.
Neighbor to the north.
Okay.
Correct.
So you have an existing garage? The
I
existing,
have a 2-car garage existing.
Okay.
Yes.
and you said that that's too short for kind of modern vehicles, or at least for your
Too short
truck.
for my truck, and I've got 2 collector cars that I keep in there.
Okay, great. And in terms of the addition, the proposed addition, is gonna be attached to the house. You've provided site plans. What materials, is it gonna match the house? Is it gonna
It's
be?
exactly gonna match the house as close as I can. That was the whole reason, so it looked like it's been there forever.
Okay,
And if you look at the drawing, it all works together. In fact, the two windows in the front are gonna match the two windows that are existing on the opposite side of the drive. And again, the entry door to the garage is gonna match the other entry door to the opposite garage. So it all looks symmetrical, and the roof line, all's gonna tie in. That was the idea.
and the new entry doors are proposed to essentially face your existing house, so they won't be facing Sashaba, even though you're quite a distance from Sashaba.
The garage entry doors won't be, but the entry door, the small 3-foot entry door on the left there is going to
The
be
man door.
facing Sashaba.
Okay, great. Brian, can you walk us through it's always a challenge with the math of this, but essentially, in our township, we're obviously allowed to have attached garages. It has a relationship to the size of the house and the existing garage. And so the applicant here is asking for an additional garage, which takes it over that threshold by about 1,139 feet.
Yeah, so the equation is total floor area, half the total floor area, or 900 square feet, whichever is greater. And in this particular case, according to assessing, this is where we take all the data from. He has 2,540 square foot is the house. So you divide that by 2, he's allowed 1,270 square feet. Then you have to subtract his existing garage, which is 636. And then he has a proposed garage of 1,773. So once you subtract the 1,773 and you subtract out the existing garage, you come up with 1,139 square feet.
That makes
So that's where the variance comes from.
That makes sense. All right. I would note that because of the size of your lot, you're not proposing to encroach on the setbacks, the side setback, and so your existing house is far enough away from the property line to the south.
It is, yeah,
that,
there's plenty of room.
that you're able to put this in without encroaching
Correct.
onto the neighbor. You're also set back quite a ways from Sashaba. You are on a lake, and so you've got an unusual circumstance in that people see your house really from all sides. The side facing the lake, that's also going to match the brick and siding
Yes,
of your
oh,
existing
sure.
house? Okay, great. I'll bring it back to the board for questions. Brian?
Would he be eligible for a accessory structure on this lot? The placement looks kind of difficult. I'm just wondering of square footage. Would he have square footage available if it was detached?
Let me look.
But the
As I
lot
can
shape and the
calculate.
setback becomes a problem.
Let me sit out of this for a second.
In line with, do we know the square footage of this lot?
Yeah, I'll get that here in a second.
I believe it's close to 3 acres.
So the lot is 5.69 acres.
Which includes probably some water.
It does, a little bit.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of water, actually.
What's our practice in computing for this purpose? To exclude the wet part, or what?
No, it still includes water.
Does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're looking at, he could build an accessory structure of 2,839 square feet,
So with that in mind,
upwards of 3,500.
yeah, the placement of that becomes an extreme problem with the flag lot, which it's a non-conforming lot, correct? We need 200 feet now, or no?
It's R1A, so it's just 100 foot wide.
Okay,
Yeah,
but would it violate the one, I'm just wondering if it's non-conforming.
Yeah,
by-
he's got 100.01 feet at the frontage at the road.
So what you're saying is he could put in about almost a 3,000 square foot accessory building
Approximately,
If
yeah.
it was detached.
if it was detached.
Correct.
There's a walkout garage in the front, or walkout entry doors in the front. Where does that go to?
You mean the lower level?
Yeah.
That's just an extension of the basement, that's not a garage. I can't get it, if I had a Volkswagen Bug, I could put it in there, but that's about it.
The drawings show that part of this garage is gonna be a new shop. Is that just still classified as garage space?
Yeah.
If there was another wall built in there, is it classified as garage too?
Wall across here.
It
Yeah.
depends. It starts to split hairs, but
Start to get
yeah,
in a gray area?
yeah, but ultimately, I think we would consider it a garage.
It's non-inhabitable.
Yeah, the shop is not gonna be habitable to the point where it meets code to be habitable.
I guess I'll just finish up my comments with saying if it's attached and contiguous, obviously it looks well. Like the petitioner said, it looks like it's been there for 30 years. It's a rather large variance request. He is owed the space through an accessory structure, but where would you put an accessory structure without two other variances? So I don't know, I guess at the moment I'm kind of torn.
You look at, I think it's a good point, if you look at an accessory structure that could even be the same size or twice as big, it has the potential to become more obtrusive onto the neighbors or onto the lake, or I know on Whipple Lake, we provided a variance for a accessory structure at the north end of the lake, and that's been constructed, and it's quite large and kind of sticks out as compared to something on the house here.
Yeah, it would definitely benefit the view, that's a good point, but I think the neighbors would agree that it's a benefit to make it look contiguous, but that's not a hardship.
Right.
I mean, the flag lot and the shape,
We don't allow accessory structures in the front yard, do we?
No, it requires a variance.
You know, I'm assuming on the lake, the front is the street side.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't go beyond the front plane of the home.
if we put it street side, it'd probably need 3 variances.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put it anywhere beyond the front of the home, it'd require variances. He's got, according to the drawing, I think it's 38.1 feet as a setback. It's only 10-foot setback requirement in R1A, so, I mean, theoretically, could he do an accessory structure possibly and still make it work, but, that's obviously not what he submitted.
Mr. Scarborough, why don't we go to you with any additional thoughts?
I had pretty much the same questions about accessory structure, where you could put it, how is this a hardship that is particular to the particularities of the property rather than a personal hardship. Yeah, I think those are the issues, basically.
Great. Mr. Zurich?
Minor point, in your drawing there, the existing garage, the verbiage is 3-car garage, but that's actually an existing 2-car garage, correct?
The one, yeah, it's a it's classified as 2.5, but it's only 2-car, it's deeper than a normal, deeper than 22 feet or whatever. It's probably 28 feet long.
But the existing garage is 2, or you're saying it might be 2.5?
Right,
Yeah.
by square footage, just 2.5, but it's two cars is all you can get in there.
Yeah, I think I like the idea that it's integrated to the house and that you're making every effort to make it look like part of the house all the way around. I think an external barn or shed or garage not attached gives it a potential eyesore for neighbors. There's no complaints from neighbors right now. I don't think I have too much of a concern.
Mr. Sharrow?
No, I agree that in lieu of a outstanding building, which could be quite a bit larger, this is an acceptable alternative.
Great, yeah, I tend to agree. I think we've had other requests for larger garages or an extension of garages in similar areas. But in those cases, I think they had a greater impact on the neighbors. I think, given the fact that this has a large side yard buffer, that it could, as we pointed out, be a substantially larger accessory structure. It seems to make sense, and it seems to match the architecture. At this point, I'll open it up for public comment. There's no one additional in the room. There's no one online. Brian, I assume we have no public comment. Did you say we haven't had any letters
No.
or
No comment.
comments from the
calls.
counter? Is there a basement in the proposed garage?
No,
Just on slab?
no basement.
Okay. And no garage door on the lake side?
No entry door, no garage door.
Okay.
No windows.
No windows.
Have you considered looking at doing an accessory building unattached to the house?
Have I looked into it?
Yeah.
No, I know the neighbor down the street. I've got a picture of his place. You're talking about between the house and the road,
Well,
because you can't do it on the
between
lake
the house
side.
and the lake,
Right.
because you'd need another variance if you're gonna put it in front of the house.
No, I would not, no. I have not looked into it, no.
On that note, sir, you mentioned pictures. You said you had a couple. Did you just want to put them at one end? You mentioned them, so for the record, maybe we can just
Well,
pass them
I
down
mean,
real quick.
I just
while
have
we're
pictures of
finishing up the
damage that the
question.
chipmunks did to my
Oh, okay, I thought you
boat
said.
cushions and my boat cover.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
mean, they ate through it,
I know what that looks like.
that's all.
Sounds good. Well, if we have any additional discussion, please let us know. If not, now would be an appropriate time for a motion.
I guess I'll make a motion in case 23-021, that the petitioner is asking for a 1,139 square foot variance from section 5.06 in order to put a larger attached garage at 9500 Sashball Road. The petition is supporting his request in that the attachment and the construction materials would be a better alternative to making a detached garage of some sort. So the motion would be to accept his request.
We have a motion. Do we have support?
I'll support.
Your support. Ken, could I suggest a consideration for an addition to the agenda or the motion, and that is in terms of what we discussed in terms of a unique situation to this property, because of the unusual shaped lot, it would require additional variances to put the standalone accessory structure in other locations, or if it was put in the rear yard, it would potentially have greater impact on neighboring properties because of the unique shape of the property.
Yes, I think that would be a good idea to add that if the external structure was in front of the property, it would require another petition. And then there's a chance that if it's going in the rear of the property, that it may need an exception to property lines.
We have, Jim, do you support those changes?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Brian, if we could have a roll call, please?
Mr. Epping?
Yes.
Mr. Galley?
No.
Mr. Scarborough?
No.
Mr. Charles?
Yes.
Mr. Zurich?
Yes.
Your motion passes, so you'll have to work with the building department to get all your permits, all the inspections and so forth, but you're able to build your garage as you've described it here.
And I understand that has to be completed in 180 days?
You have 12 months to apply for a permit.
12 months to apply for a permit?
You have the variance is good for a year, so 12, you have any time between now and next year, on this date to apply for the building permit.
Okay,
Building permits are good for 180 days, yes.
okay.
So you get a permit within a year, and then you start within 180 days of that permit.
Well, yeah, and you kinda have to have it done or get an extension.
Oh, it has to be constructed within that 180
Yeah.
days.
Yeah, or request an extension.
Right.
Thank you.
Brian in the building department can help you with all those. Great, thanks very much, appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming. The second item on our agenda is the 2024 Zoning Board of Appeals schedule. In the packet and online is the proposed 2024 schedule, January through December. It looks like everything is on the first Wednesday of the month, except for July, which
Correct.
is July 10th because of the 4th of July holiday. Anybody had a chance to
Is
look
there
at
any
the-
issues with those dates? Otherwise, I will send this to the clerk's office.
Do we need a motion to accept the schedule as is? No?
No, no,
A
no.
bookkeeping item?
It's just, yeah, put it in your calendars for next year.
Looks good.
Sounds good. With that, we are closed with new business. Next is approval of the minutes. We've got the minutes from the October 4th meeting. We did not have a meeting in November, so we've got October 4th in the packet. Everybody's had a chance to review those. If you have any comments, corrections, if not, we'll have a motion to accept the minutes.
So move.
Support, we have motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain, I wasn't there.
Thank you. With that, with the meeting open, it's a quick meeting today with only one agenda item. With the meeting open, it's discussion. Is there anything for discussion as we close out the year for the ZBA?
Two little things. The one's unrelated. It's something you just said, 180 days. I can't build one of my houses
I
in
know.
180 days. I think it was always 180 days, wasn't it? And they just let
That's
them
what-
extend.
That's what the building code requires, is
Yeah.
180, and our building official sticks pretty tight to that.
Is there an
And-
extension fee now, or just depending on how long it takes?
I don't
Just curious.
know if there's a fee involved. I'm not quite sure, but he will extend it based on circumstances, so as long as you're ahead of the game and, then he will,
Yeah, if it's a large project and there's continued progress, and I mean,
Yeah.
especially if you start
It's not just sitting there.
in the winter time, if you pulled your permit now and it froze solid tomorrow, you're kind of sitting on it for 3 months.
yeah, because of the over 1,000 expired permits just on the building side, that doesn't count trade,
Yeah,
which is well over
More.
1,000.
yeah.
The building department's being very stiff on extensions and things like that.
Which will help clean that up.
It
so
is,
that's
yeah.
good,
Yeah,
And the second item was just, after another year on the ZBA, I think this is my 10th year, just, I'm happy to serve with all you guys. Everybody brings, historical perspective and, in your two guys' case, a lot of professional expertise, so I'm real proud to be a member of this board with all you, and obviously Brian Ottman at the township is fantastic, knows his stuff.
Very
So,
nice. Likewise, yeah, it's been another great year, and 10 years is impressive for sure. I mean, all the time that really everybody gives to the township, but you serve on a number of commissions, which is well appreciated. And
Yeah, I just got a notification that I'm up for reassignment.
Ooh, I hope they reappoint you.
Does everybody do that? So it's not
it's
on the calendar
staggered.
year, it's.
2
it's
years.
Yeah, it's staggered,
Every year, I think.
every couple years, yeah. I'll have to look and see, cause I
it's on
didn't
the
realize
website
that
when they
you were up.
Seems like I just,
Did you turn in your paperwork to the clerk's office?
Well, she emailed me the form, and for some reason, I can't print it. But she also said that she mailed one.
Okay,
So I'm waiting for that to show up, and then I'll fill it out and bring it in.
okay.
Well, I'll be one to say that Mr. Charles' knowledge of the township cannot be replaced on this board, so,
Thank you.
very, very valuable insight.
Interesting, I worked with that guy's father.
Is that
I
right?
thought it was him, but no, it turned out it was his dad.
Wow.
Oh, probably, 15, 20 years ago. He, probably the grandfather, his grandfather passed away, left the house to the two sons, Edward and George. And they didn't get along very well. And they wanted to, you know, put a little cul-de-sac in there and develop it into 3 or 4 lots. And it's a tough piece
Yeah,
to do that with, because the cul-de-sac takes up so damn much room. So we tried all kinds of different layouts, and they never were satisfied with it, and they ended up just splitting it into 2 parcels.
they split it. In fact, it looks like it might even be 3 parcels, but they built that big house next door to it.
No, it was 2 parcels.
Is it?
As I recall, yeah.
But-
I mean, it was split into 2 parcels.
Looks good.
I will, follow up with reappointments and make sure that you get it taken care of.
Yeah, because I emailed it on Monday. She showed up on Monday, and it hasn't showed up in the mail yet.
Okay.
So I figured I got till the end of the month. So.
Well, yeah, the next board meeting, I think, is when all the appointments are gonna be done, so we'll make sure it gets done.
I just I'd like to comment, I voted no on that just because without having great familiarity to, what do you wanna call it, the kind of flexibility this board provides, I was, a little uncomfortable voting, yes on this one. In my prior years on a prior ZBA, they always kind of relied on, spirit and intent of the ordinance a little more than I would like to. And, but I do also appreciate some flexibility at times. So that's why I voted no. It's not that I was really against it, but just, I gotta get a better feel for how this township works and as far as.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I don't think you're wrong at all. I mean, we tend to remind ourselves in the public often that I think our number one job is to enforce the ordinance and to uphold the ordinance. And, you know, the zoning board, the board of trustees spends an awful lot of time. Brian and his staff spend a lot of time with the ordinance, and, you know, it's here to protect all of us
Yeah.
and make it a good township. So we don't necessarily look for ways to get around it, but the applicants that do come here typically have unique circumstances, so I think
Yeah.
it's a valid point. I'm just looking on the website, you also expire
Yes.
on 12/31/23, so hopefully you're reapplying as well.
I turned paperwork in.
Very good.
So do I, but I was.
Already?
Oh, yeah, because it was a term that somebody stepped down.
Oh,
And so my term matched, or picked up his.
the
And
web,
I've taken care of the paperwork.
okay, because, yeah, it's already updated. It says you expired on 12/31/25.
Oh.
25.
25.
How
So,
about that?
Jim, yeah, so, with that, any other discussion, guys? Appreciate your time. Everybody has a very
Yeah,
Merry
happy
Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Thanks.
Happy New Year.
Motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.
Didn't support it. I'll support it.
I saw that
in
German
spirit.
come up on the TV, so we didn't have time to